Now, today is World Humanitarian Day, a day set aside to honor those who step into crisis to help others and to stand with the millions of people whose lives hang in the balance. This year, the message is clear as humanitarian system has stretched to its limits, underfunded, overwhelmed, and under attack. In 2024 alone, over 380 humanitarian workers were killed, some in the line of duty, others in their homes. Hundreds more have been injured, kidnapped, or detained. This gives reason to fear that this year could be worse, and experts are now noting that the world often looks away as the attacks violate international law and those responsible walk free. Experts and humanitarian workers are calling for accountability, protection of aid workers from attacks, and proper funding to ensure disaster preparedness. Now, Chief of UNICEF's field office in Maiduguri, Borno State, Francis Butichi, joins me on the news on What Now. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me.
So we are at a time where we're also seeing dwindling global funding for AIDS around the world as just the impact at the front lines continue to escalate. Give us a sense of how a reduction in global funding for AIDS has also had impact on the security and lives of aid workers.
Thank you very much. I'll give you an example. Right now, humanitarian workers have to make very difficult choices on whom to save and whom not to save. For instance, we have very many malnourished children, and UNICEF and other partners have to decide who of these children we need to provide with RUTF, ready-to-use therapeutic food, and whom to not. For instance, we have now to decide, normally we provide this therapeutic food to under 5 children. But because of the funding cut, we may have to make the impossible decision of providing this therapeutic food to only those under 2 years of age.
And that must be a very traumatic experience to watch a child die because you had to make a decision, I imagine. But just for I mean, 380 aid workers have died this year. That's a lot. In terms of, again, not just funding, it also takes a toll on those who are taking care of victims of wars, natural disaster. Just give us, again, an idea of the impact of the loss of an aid worker, what that would mean in terms of humanitarian work.
It's very traumatic. Many of the aid workers who remain, they have this psychological impact. Some of them fear to go back to these places. Those who are already working also fear to travel to these places and provide the much needed humanitarian aid and assistance to the communities. But through our psychosocial support system, together with partners, organizations are providing psychosocial support to aid workers, counseling them and providing them social support so that they can be able to continue with their work.
Now, in terms of being on the front line, what is the role of engagement when it comes to provision of security for aid workers?
Right now in the Northeast, we are actually collaborating with the military so that they are able to provide us with the military escort from one LGA to the other. Like I just moved from Maiduguri yesterday. I'm now in Yobe. We were provided with the military escort throughout the way from Maiduguri to Damaturu, this is very useful because it facilitates our work. We are able to feel confident to travel along the roads to where we are needed to provide services.
And as nations around the world grapple with humanitarian crisis, we're hoping that the least that governments around the world will also do is to provide security for aid workers. Thank you so much for your time. I wish we could expand this conversation further, but my time is up. Francis Butichi, the chief of
Thank you.
UNICEF's field office in Maiduguri, Borno State.